Good morning. Paying no attention. Let me go grab the link and I'll go post it on our website. Ended up running a bit behind here, so let me go quickly over to that page. That page is jollyrogerukulele.com. Today is Monday, March 15th. We are we are 22 lessons into the Foundations program, and today we're going to revisit Home on the Range because we didn't get a chance to play through it thoroughly on Friday. And so today will be more of the same of what we've been working on. Let me make sure the link works. Dun, dun, dun. You gotta patiently wait. Everybody's logging like, where the heck is that dude? Where's he at, man? So I'm finally here, guys. Apologize for being late. And link works. Our lesson 22. That's exactly what we want. While we're letting everybody pile in, I'm going to post this on Twitter, jollyrogerukulele.com, and that pops up. And I add on the little photo, lesson 22 photo. Getting close to needing to do a whole new series of those. Tweet. Alright. And there we go. And then let's see what I would come up with. Pixelmail.com. Alright. Alright, so everybody can be piling in here. We'll figure out if we can. Okay, good, very good. So we're playing Home on the Range today. Yeah, Michelle made it in from Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Good to see you, Michelle. We had a crazy amount of snow here in Colorado over the weekend, and so everybody all the local people are probably out shoveling. In Denver, they give you 24 hours to shovel your snow, and how that works is that people people either like rush out and like, oh, I gotta make the rule, or they don't do anything. And as far as I can tell, I don't know, the city doesn't seem to be on top of one way or the other. So all right, grab your Home on the Range. We've already talked about this last week. We're just going to use it as a refresh today. I wasn't positive I was going to be here today anyway because I originally had a dental appointment. So I thought, you know what, I don't want to have to rewrite the entire schedule for the week. So we're going to do Home on the Range again today, and grab the ukulele version of that. Let's just make sure we know everything that's going on. My favorite arrangement in the book, I think, is really, really beautiful, and it should come out of your ukulele just fine. And then we'll run through the baritone, and then we'll have it on our playlist for Friday, and that way we'll have made sure to give it a good amount of focus. All right, Donna made it in. Beautiful blue skies in Lakewood. Yeah, Donna lives west of town here, and the further west you go, the worse it got. And they got like 3 feet up at Estes Park of snow. So they said it was the 4th worst snow that Denver's ever seen. But I will tell you, I was here for 2 or 3 of the other worst snows ever, and they seemed much worse than yesterday. Yesterday, it wasn't so much the quantity of snow we got in Denver as the fact that it was blowing sideways most of the day. So there's a lot of drifting and that sort of thing. Vic is in from sunny Eugene. No snow here. You don't get a ton of snow up in Eugene anyway, but you've been having a surprisingly mild winter, it seems like, Vic. We've been up in Eugene in the winter, and I remember it being very wet and very foggy. Mary's in from Golden, getting melted out. Linda, I am safe, Linda. Sound looks like you are as well. Colorado Springs, a little further south, not quite as much of a snow as it up here. Further north, northern Colorado, tons of snow. So we took all that weather and we're sending it out east. So those of you guys that live east of here, be crazy, right? Rob is in 66. It's sunny here. I'm knitting you a sweater. Yeah, yeah. Soon as that's exactly what I need you to do, Rob. I need you to stop trying to learn to play ukulele, and I need you to start trying to learn how to knit. When I was a kid, my grandmother taught me how to crochet, and I actually did that clear into college. It was very peaceful. It was very fun, just like because it's not unlike music in some senses. You're just busy following a specific techniques and then counting. That's what I think ultimately that's why I ended up I'm just not that detail oriented, and so my crocheting ended up crazy. I didn't count properly. Mihailo, welcome in. Glad you're here again. Good to see you. And Pam made it in up in Connecticut. Very cold up in Connecticut. Last week's beautiful was the tease, right? We're sending a bunch of storm from the west out here your way anyway, Pam. So don't put the snow boots away quite yet. All right, Home on the Range. We talked about it last week. I don't want to spend a ton of time revisiting everything about it. But measure 4, remember I told you I've got it written with 0003. It'll sound great. But if you want to make it sound a little bit better, change it out to a C minor, which is 0333. Sounds just a little bit more fancy. That happens at measure 4, measure 12, and measure 28. I think one of these days I'll go ahead and just update the sheet music because it sounds so much better that it seems like, man, we should definitely do that. I don't know, one of my students, I think it was one of the students here on this broadcast said, hey, you should put a C minor there. And so I did. I think it shows up on the baritone sheet music, but I didn't do it on the ukulele music. Please don't. Boots already packed away. I don't know, Pam. That seems mighty suspicious that you're thinking winter's over in Connecticut in March. But, man, I went to school for one semester in Poughkeepsie, New York. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. And it was cold. It seemed like it was cold all the way through May, almost into May. And then the next day it was too hot. It was like spring lasted about 10 minutes. All right, let's play through the chords and let's sing, right? You know what a great singer I am. And let's do that. I got to make sure that this microphone is set up properly. It's just, yeah, okay, that's where it's supposed to be. All right, from the top. 1, 2. Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam and the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. The range where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies are not cloudy all day. And then you repeat, okay? Remember, when you come back the second time through, your repeat there is 2 measures long. So the second time when you would come around 31 and 32, you skip those and jump onto 32. All right, let's play the melody from the top. Baritone players, you stay on chords. 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. Then you would turn around and repeat that again. The second time through, you don't play 31 and 32. Finally, tough uke. Okay, and we'll walk through it a little bit. We'll walk through it carefully, and then we'll play through it to the end. Okay, so let's grab your G chord. In finger style ukulele, we almost always grab our chord first. Okay, and in this case, it's super helpful. Okay, grab it, your 2. You're already holding it down. Let's play that. You're holding the 3 down already. Lift your middle finger up to get the 0, and then put it right back down to get the G chord. Ring finger to get the 3, and slide it back to get the 2. Then you got 0, 0, 0. Rest stroke on the first string, and then grab your 3 to make your 2 C chords, or 2 of them, yeah. And then this is where I'm going to start putting in a 0, 3, 3, 3. So just take your index finger, cover the bottom 3 strings. Okay, let that ring just a little bit. Then grab your middle finger, 2, and then ring finger to 3. And here's where in the beginning, this is harder than we want it to be. You want to put a G chord on and put your pinky up on 5. That's a little bit of a stretch for people. They have a tendency to fight that a little bit. Most people can do that eventually, but this reach, getting this tenon and this finger strong enough to do that at motion is a little challenging. You do have an option. You can put index finger, middle finger, and pinky finger, and then just don't use your ring finger at all. So in other words, you're taking your G chord, taking it apart, putting your middle finger here, and then your pinky will easily go there. Okay. And then and the only reason I don't like you to do that is that a lot of times after you do this note, this is going to be the next note, and so it's just easier to do it as a G chord and add your pinky. But it's all perfectly fine to do index, middle, pinky. Okay, and then strum that. Hit 2 3s. Now your index finger slides back, 0, 1, 3. Middle finger slides back, it's the 2. Slides forward to get the 3. And then 20, 20, 20, 20. Just some decorative notes. Now your 2 there, you're holding the wrong string. So your index finger has to come down, and that's when you start putting your G chord on. And then add your pinky for the 5. Oh, I'm sorry, where am I? I'm on major 9. I jumped ahead. 2, and then you hit this 2, 2, 3. Measure 10, G chord. Ring finger, opens, 2 more 3s, here's your G chord, middle finger up, ring finger, make your D7, add your ring finger, hit the 0, it's already open, and the G chord, 0, 2, 3. Then you just add your decorative notes in here. Pinky up on 5. It's a bar chord on 2 with your middle finger on 3. Then just lift your middle finger up to get that 2. And then open, just take your bar off. And then at measure 19, put your G chord back on. Got some decorative notes here. Hit the 2s twice. Then go grab this E minor. When I first started, E minor was a really, really hard chord to do. 0, 4, 3. Play it 3 times. And then grab your index finger. Change that, your ring finger out for your index finger on 1. Slide your middle finger back. Slide it forward. And then page 2, grab your D7. Again, some decorative notes. Drop your index finger to get the 2 and put your G chord back on. Middle finger up, middle finger down. Ring finger, slide it back. Zeros, C chords, C minor. 2 more 3s. G chord at 29, middle finger up, D7, add the 3, add the 0, add the G chord. Those are all decorative. From the top, at whatever speed you want. If that's too much, if your brain's like, oh, I don't like Gary anymore, play the melody. And baritones, you're still on chords. Ready, play. Chord. Second ending, G chord. Strum, let it ring, and then go grab a 10. We have a guy in the guitar orchestra here. That's his whole job. At the end of every song, whatever note we need, his job is to be the bing guy. Bing. All right, so there's that. That's Home on the Range. Beautiful piece of music. I would say you could do yourself a huge favor by just playing that every single day this week. Just play it every single day. Get where it's smooth, where all of the challenges are making sense to you, because everything that's on here is going to show up in other songs down the road, and it's really quite a pleasant piece of music. It just sounds nice, and comes off. You don't have to play it fast. Just let the thing happen. Those of you who live in the city, you know you want to live in the country, and those of you who live in the country, you know that that this is a song. I'm always impressed at how many people live out in the country, because when we were growing up, we had to go to the farm, and I'll tell you what, that is hard work, and that is not fun. So thank you, country people, for making my life where I don't have to live out there. All right, let's go grab the baritone version of this. Hopefully at this point, ukulele players, you're starting to get your resources in order where you're like, you know what, I know how to find the chords that I need. And I've made I make notes on the baritone music of what I need in terms of some of the chords you'll know, some of them you won't. And you're getting where you're like, yep, I just got to write them down on here, and then I have them forever. And that way, when we come back to a piece of music, you've already written in the weird chords that are hard to remember. That process doesn't change. Every single time I'm working in music, these days I pretty much have all of the regular things memorized for both baritone and ukulele, but the weird stuff, not necessarily, and so I have to look things up once in a while, and that's where your apps come involved, or even that chord sheet that we have on the website. You can take care of most of your basic stuff with that. So let's talk to ukulele players first. And Rob's turned into a cowboy just playing this song, which is very exciting. He was really sort of aimless and listless in life until he found cowboy music on the ukulele. All right, Home on the Range. Ukulele players, your D chord, remember, that's your D chord. Your A7 chord is right here. Okay, your G chord, we're just working on it a whole bunch. Okay, there's that. Your G minor chord, that's index, middle, and ring. So it's that's one of those that comes up a lot, but it's harder to remember. So getting your G minor in order is a good idea. Measure 6, E7 looks like this. Index, then middle, then ring. That comes from day 2 of our workshops here. And there's one other chord, if I remember right, somewhere down here. I think it's your B minor, measure 21 on ukulele. That's a bar on 2 and ring finger on the 4th fret of the 4th string, and not exactly pleasant to play. That's that. Okay, so those are your chords. Let's run through. Let's do it fast, and then you'll have plenty of time to practice today. So I'd like to play. I'm going to play the chords first, and you guys are going to play the melody. Baritone players, ukulele players, you're on chords for the next three passes. Okay, so I'm going to play chords. You're going to play melody if you have a baritone. Then I'm going to play melody, and you're going to play chords. Everybody, and then I'm going to play tough uke for the final time. And baritone players, either you will play melody or tough uke with me. Ukulele players, you're on chords throughout. Rob's from Texas. We automatically assume he's walking around with a cowboy hat on. He's got he might be a drugstore cowboy, but he's a cowboy. I guarantee if we went to Rob's house, somewhere in there's a cowboy hat. It's required in Texas. You have to. You move in down there, and they're like, all right, here's your hat, here's your boots, here's y'all, which you can use without irony. All right, what did I say? You guys are on melody. I'm playing chords. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 5, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, oh, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, oh, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, oh, 2, 3, 2, oh, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, oh, 3, 2, 3, oh, 3. Okay, now, you guys switch to chords. Ready, go. 1, 2. Two, three, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2. 2, 3, 1, 2. baritone players, you're on melody or are you on tough uke? Ready, play. Second ending. Bar on 7, pinky on 10. Isn't that lovely? This absolutely wonderful piece of music. And it doesn't feel like Texas, though, does it? It feels like Kansas. So, yeah. It certainly doesn't feel like Connecticut, does it, Pam? Let's see. Rob says, I used to have a nice cowboy hat when I was younger. Rode hurt on his six-pack. Rode hurt on his six-pack. That's funny. No, I grew up, my stepfather was a psycho, but we would have to go down to the ranch all the time down in Kansas and do cowboy things. And yeah, I had a cowboy hat and we had a horse and all that stuff. And I can tell you, being a city slicker, you don't just turn that on, right? That's part of who you are. It's got to be part of your DNA. That's not something that it was ever going to work out particularly well for me. But I do have the ability to play a cowboy tune on a ukulele, and it always sounds wonderful. So there we go. Guys, a little bit short lesson, but we've been through it twice. We'll see that show up again on Friday as in our Friday concert. And I think you could do yourself a huge favor by just playing through that until it starts to come out of your ukulele reliably. There's nothing that I would change on that arrangement at all. I think it's beautiful. Tomorrow we're going to dig into another arpeggio. This is your key of G arpeggio. If you're on ukulele, D for baritone. This one is quite a bit tougher than the key of C arpeggio that we did last week, and or was it the week before? I think it was last week. And again, we're really working on getting you comfy with your chord shapes over here while you're doing crazy stuff with your right hand, and those two things together will eventually, it all is tough in the beginning, guys, and you've probably figured that out. This is the hard way to play the instrument. It will far and away reward you back over and over and over by doing the hard work you're doing now. And then you'll be delighted that on Wednesday we have Simple Gifts, which is actually a pretty easy song to play and will sound wonderful. And by the time we get that, you're like, oh, well, this isn't hard, right? And Carnival of Venice is the same thing. Not terribly difficult songs compared to some of the other stuff. So come in tomorrow ready to work a little bit. It's kind of a hard one. You might take it a look at tonight. The arpeggio, key of G arpeggio for ukulele, and key of D for baritone. And then Simple Gifts and Carnival of Venice. Both of them are easier tunes this week than some of the other stuff. So that by Friday we'll have a really nice concert going on, and looking forward to working with everybody. Thank you all for being here. As always, we start off with a little bit, quite a large number, and people sort of decide whether this is a way of playing that they want to keep up. And Warren says we gotta stop meeting like this. I gotta stop wandering the internet looking for you. I'm gonna get arrested. This week and next week, and then you're done with foundations program theoretically. So in other words, by next week, if playing like this makes sense to you, we will have Aloha Oi and Scarborough Fair are our stretch pieces. You're not really expected to be able to play those well getting out of here, but you're expected to have the sense of, hey, I know what I'm supposed to do. We also have Daisy Bell next week, which is the B flat. That's the one of those chords that people kind of hate in the beginning when they're learning, but it turns out it's just like all of the other bar chords that we have to do, and working on your Make It Better bar worksheet will make that much easier for you when we get there. And then we have one last arpeggio, the key of F arpeggio, which is the hard arpeggio of the beginning series here. Aloha A and Scarborough Fair. So next week, everything is pretty challenging next week. And you'll know by then, hey, I basically know what I'm getting my body to do what it's supposed to do is one thing, but do you really know what you're supposed to be doing versus you're just sort of shooting in the dark. Lots and lots of people take the foundations class twice, even more so here when you're online. When we're in a classroom and I can keep an eye on you and I can help you out in the moment with your fingering and your hands and thinking through challenges you're facing, or I can see it in your eyeballs. I don't have as many people repeat foundations, but online here where I really can't see what you're up to there, it's usually a pretty smart idea for you to take this at least twice, so you can make sure everything's making sense to you. And some of you have had enough previous experience where you're like, nope, I know what he's up to. I'm ready to just start making my life miserable with the tougher class. Today we are doing a pretty challenging arpeggio on that group, so keeping them busy as well. So guys, thanks for everything. Vic, good to see you. Warren, I'm so glad you're stalking me. I love it. Rob says, stay warm. Boots and hats were part of the progressive country thing in the 70s. Willie Nelson. I know, right? I thought it was required. I thought when you move to Texas, they give you a house. Every now and then I get mad at Denver, and I'm like, I'm moving. I'm going to move out of here. And I look around the country, and I'm like, everything is anywhere where I'd want to live is super crazy expensive. So then I'm like, well, what does stuff cost in Texas? And in Texas, you get a mansion for $12. Everybody gets a mansion, and then you get. I assume they had that when you buy the mansion, then at closing with the title company, they give you your boots and your hat and a belt buckle and. What else do they give you in Texas? They give you the ability to understand how Texans think, because it's different. Not good or bad, but definitely different. Every time around here when we see the news, we're like, what in the heck are they doing down there in Texas? It's like when in New Mexico. I lived in New Mexico for a while, and you definitely have to think different to live in New Mexico. So, Michelle, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Mary, online search for C minor baritone gives me 50. Oh, baritone C minor. Well, let's use my resource. Let me show you what I would do. If you're like, okay, what's the C minor on baritone? I will pull up my chord chart. I go to my phone, ukulele fretboard. I make sure it's set for baritone. I say find chords. I go to C, and then I put on the minor, and you get this. Okay, and what this says is your best. It's got fingerings all up and down the fretboard here. Like all of these dots, I could use any of those, but they put them in green that are the best. Okay, so for the C minor on baritone, it looks like the F minor on ukulele. So index finger 4th string 1st fret, middle finger 2nd string 1st fret, pinky finger 3rd fret of the 1st string. Okay, so that's your C minor on baritone. It looks like F minor on ukulele. Okay, so that's what's happening there. And again, those are chords that I know only because I do them all of the time. But it doesn't matter what I have in my head. It matters if I have a resource to get to help me when I can't remember what's in my head, right? And so I do think there's plenty of these on there. If you have Android, I have used several of them. I still can't find anything better than the one that I use all the time, and I think it's just called Ukulele Fretboard. Yeah, ukulele fretboard version 2. That's the one I use on Android. I think it's tremendous. I've never ever had anything on here that I didn't like. In fact, I use this for. I had the guitar one I use is I don't like it anywhere near as much as this one. And so I will usually look up guitar chords on my ukulele baritone and then figure out the rest. But this does high G. It also does low G, which is stupid because it's the same, and then baritone. But you can do baritone and high G on here. And it has fine chords. It also says explore scales and view chords. I've never even pushed those buttons, so I don't know what they do. But that's the one I use. I know that there are similar ones on iPhone, and obviously try a few out and see which ones make which makes sense, whichever ones makes it the most sense for you. So Q was here. She says, Rob says houses are cheap but mountains are are only online. That's true, right? You get a cheap house, but you can see every single house in Texas from your front porch because it's so flat. That's funny, Rob. Well, East Texas and West Texas is very different. I spent a little bit of time in West Texas, Amarillo, Dallas, those kinds of towns, and it's very flat out there. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? We have several friends living in Texas now. I'll have to stop making fun of them eventually because they'll probably end up there. Oh, and they give you a cow. Yeah, of course you have to have a cow. Come on, you live out in Texas. Good reason to move. All right, there you go, Mary. And okay, I'm downloading it. Yeah, get one on your phone. Either just find a chord finder, and like I say, on Android, that's the one I like. I don't have iPhone, but you guys can find one that makes sense for you. And it's just one of your resources. You're not going to remember every single chord on every single instrument every single day at every single moment, and so having a backup plan for when you can't remember for sure is a good idea. Plus, the longer you play this, the more minor ninths, the more major sevenths, the 13ths, the suspended fourths, those things are going to start showing up as part of a thing you do, and none of us remember what those look like. You don't need to. They don't come up enough to remember those. But when they do come up, you need a source for helping you find out what those look like on your instrument. And that's there's an app for that. Thank goodness. When I started, there weren't apps. There weren't phones like this at all. And everything, you had a piece of paper, and you're like, oh gosh, I hope this is right. And when it wasn't right, then you had to kind of figure it out. So yeah, there you go. All right, guys, I'm gonna pull the plug, and I will see all you guys tomorrow, all y'all tomorrow for whatever I said we're working on tomorrow, and then some of you will come into the next hour. We're playing a new arpeggios, so I better go get those downloaded. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.